Well, thank you coming into the channel. We're trying to do a bit of an outside thing here. You can see the pool in the background. We'll see how it works. I'm not sure if it will work. I'll give it a go. But thanks for coming in on our relationship series. Let's just see what I've done here. We don't want that. That's it. We finished off in our last session talking about how justice is joy to the godly. People want to get things resolved. Good people, godly people want to resolve things. It's as simple as that. If you're with somebody and they're not resolving, they're not godly. They're probably got some demonic stuff going on or some unresolved within themselves, but make one thing certain, they're not. Definitely not working in the godly realm. Just adjust that camera a bit, give us a bit more view. That's it. And godliness brings joy along with justice. Justice is the great joy bringer. When you've been given justice for something that you felt you've been wronged with, particularly in a relationship, that brings joy. Resolve can also bring joy. Resolve in a relationship can bring joy. And the problem with resolve is it terrifies people that aren't up for it. And this is what makes it difficult. If somebody's made a mistake or brought some injustice towards you or your relationship, that's going to cause an issue relative to resolve. And what's the opposite of joy? Sadness. A lot of people are living in sadness now. Their things haven't been resolved. The sadness has overtaken the reality of the relationship. I've laboured in a relationship, my last one, for 8 months, trying to get resolved, and then when there was an opportunity or a solution presented, it was so ludicrous. I think I had a mental. Something happened, and I couldn't take it anymore. The relationship ended because it brings sadness when you're being treated unjustly and wrongly. It's not godly; it's demonic. Earthly, soulish, demonic, the Bible says, and many people put up with this in their tolerance. I've done it. And sometimes, see, the thing is, if somebody's resisting resolve, there's something evil going on. That's all there is to it. Whatever that evil is, so be it. But your sadness is a sign that there's evil. You're not being treated justly, and you want to go down the godly path. People will resist resolve for whatever reason it is. They'll resist it. They'll confront it. They'll resist it. They'll try and overthrow it. They'll try and, you name it. I've watched it. I've experienced it. They'll lose their relationships over it. You see, if somebody's prepared to lose their relationship over a matter of unresolved, be it triangulation, cheating, lying, stealing, these are the main ones. Laziness, they're not texting back, they're not ringing back, they're putting their emotional effort into having emotional affairs. They're having sex with you, but they're emotionally connected somewhere else. No. All going to come back on the person. They're going to bring disaster on themselves. Because when you're a Christian and you're fair income about things and you're not trying to be wrong to somebody, the Lord knows what's going on. He knows what's going on. And this is where these people who are trying to bring sadness upon you are just bringing disaster upon themselves. And I've seen this time and time again. Just disaster after disaster, unnecessary disaster, bad decision making, bad choices, and everybody ends up on the raw end of the straw. Everybody goes back to zero, all for some reason that shouldn't have been there, given the age of most of us now. So we found out that justice is a joy to those who want resolve. And the problem with it is, if you're with somebody that's deteriorating into personal or a personality disorder, or they're just going into their sinful nature, resolve will terrify them, because it could bring them to a stronger point of needing to have commitment. There's another one, the point of commitment. A lot of people don't want to commit, they don't want to go down that road, they don't want to be involved in it, and therefore you have these issues of commitment. People don't want to commit. And resolve can make way for a stronger and healthier commitment. And that's wonderful, don't you think? I think that's wonderful. I think there's great life in commitment, and everybody can work around that. But if there's unresolved and triangulation, people are just getting their emotional arms and legs chopped up, and you're just being pushed around. It's a person who strays from common sense, that doesn't want the joy of justice and resolve. And unfortunately, again, they end up in the company of the dead. Jesus said, let the dead bury their own dead, meaning there's people that are just not going to want justice and joy in their relationships. They'll find it in other areas, which gives you evidence to the fact that there's no value there for the relationship. A lot of people need to wake up, and a lot of people are having awakenings. There's a lot of awakening going on. In the world of relationships, with all the knowledge that's out there now, people just aren't tolerating these people that have strayed from common sense and are putting themselves in the company of the dead. You see, a godly person won't fit in there. Your light and energy will not fit in with these people that are dead to sin, alive to sin but dead to God. You're alive to God but dead to sin. These people are alive to sin but dead to God. You're alive to God and dead to sin. That's how it works. And these people don't like you. It makes them afraid that you're going to get too close. Resolve brings people closer. Unresolved takes people farther. So we know that the people that don't want to resolve have a separation problem. They want division. There's a divisive nature in people that don't want resolve. That's what we've learned. It's here in the scriptures. They lack common sense, and they just want to end up in the company of the dead. They're the living dead. They're zombies. They're using you for supply. Some people go 12 months, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, only to realise that they were with an evildoer that was just using them for supply. That was it. That's why they had the sadness. Their sex life was evil and strayed from common sense, because the more unresolved there is and the longer it goes on for, the more degenerate the people become, because unresolved makes you evil. It turns you evil in the end through its frustration and the way in which it torments people. And then to go one step further, it says those who love pleasure become poor in Proverbs 21:17. Those who love pleasure become poor. Now these are reckless pleasure seekers. They're deceived by their lusts in Ephesians 4. And those who love wine and luxury will never be rich. And I've seen it. I've seen these people that are addicts and all the rest of it, and for the most part, guess what? They don't become rich. And a lot of the attitude is money's not important. Money's bloody well important when they run out of their fuel, when they run out of their devil's lettuce or alcohol, medications and things. I keep saying, but when we did the books after my first wife ruined the marriage, our second wife ruined the marriage, We had to get books done, and she was stealing, and a lot of the money went to chemists. We couldn't work out what was going on. She must have been supplying her side of the family or something. We couldn't work it out. There was too much money spent at the chemist. But they were medical. They were medicine people. They loved their tablets. And then the wicked are punished in place of the godly, and traitors in place of the honest. And it just comes back on them. They don't get the message. People of unresolved end up in the same trouble that they cause, while the godly people escape. They remove themselves from it. They don't want to be a part of it. And this is what's happening with people that are in narcissism. They're not recognizing it soon enough. They're not recognizing that their partner's just using them as a means of supply. And see, the devalue phase in a narcissistic relationship may not occur till 10. There is no time limit on it. So everything can be wonderful. Going out together, walking around together, hanging out together, going to the pictures, having ice cream, great sex and all that, and communicating and all the rest of it. The first sign of narcissism is the deterioration of any of those things. It's the first sign. You know that something's wrong, and you've got to identify it as wrong and act accordingly. Too many people, this happens to people in cults. The red flags are waving right in front of them, and they're just going, no, that's not, no, that's not. This is how it is. And the Jehovah's Witnesses are the worst for it. This is how it is. And no, some of these people that come out of cults and relationships never ever recover. They've just been too deeply abused. They were trying their best, doing their best, and no, the person's just turned it upside down. So if this has resonated with you, these people stray from common sense and end up in the company of the dead because they were triangulating. The whole time these people were triangulating. The influences were outside your control. You were trying to be joyful and have justice, and these people in their insecurities and sexuality and whatever they are, interested in themselves or in love with themselves, they hang out with the wrong company. They're split. They're triangulated. They stray from common sense, and guess who will be on the end of it if you hang around long enough? You. As soon as you're not part of the pleasure, right? These people will do whatever they have to get it. They become poor. They sabotage everything they've got. They wreck their spirit, their soul, the people around them, all for that moment's thrill. And we know that medicated people, addicts and drunkards and all these never become rich. Why? Because they spend all their money on their substances and the people that leech off them. I'm Reverend Dr. J.W. Morrison, theologist. I hope this has resonated with you. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate it. Do consider, I'm not going to ask you to, just do consider to help me build this community. Thank you for joining me. Bye for now.